Our final Hall of Fame inductee had a career that spanned over 40 years and 14 off-Broadway productions. Lisa Baines first caught audience attention for her role in a revival of John Osborne's Look Back in Anger, for which she won a 1981 Theatre World Award. She went on to appear in dozens of stage productions, including Wendy Kesselman's My Sister in This House, Wendy Wasserstein's Isn't It Romantic, and Three Sisters with Diane Wiest, Jeff Daniels, and Sam Waterston. Her performances were always vibrant, and younger actors who worked with her often spoke about how she inspired and encouraged them. She received wide acclaim for her role in Eleanor Burgess' The Niceties, in which she played a seemingly progressive lesbian college professor who locked horns with a more radical young black college student. And Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, with whom Miss Baines worked on The Orville, said that, quote, her stage presence, magnetism, skill, and talent were matched only by her unwavering kindness and graciousness, unquote, end quote. We all hoped she would be able to continue to share her great gifts with us for many more years, but we're keenly aware of how lucky we were to have experienced 40 years of her extraordinary and inspiring artistry. And we are very proud to welcome her into the Off Broadway Hall of Fame. Here to accept the award is Kathryn Kranhold.
I thought I'd read from my iBooks for you guys for a while. I did write something. First, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I'm Lisa Baines' wife, Kathryn Kranhold. And I know I told to say something brief. That's very hard to do, actually. Lisa had a career spanning 60 years. Yep, count them. She had her SAG card at age 5. Her father was an advertising director, and he cast Lisa and her brother Rusty, who's sitting right there, in his commercials, his Oldsmobile commercials with Florence Henderson, and sit there in the back. And when we first got together, Lisa and I, back in 2006, she told me the only thing she wanted to be was an actress, or a baseball player, or a pro golfer, as Julie White can attest to, her longtime friend and golfing partner. I want to say Lisa's first role was actually off Broadway, way off Broadway in Colorado, where she played a judge at that wise age of 12, and she was in a play called Common Clay, and they had to say, it was a rhythm play, and she had to say all lines to the beat of a drum. And so it was something like, have you anything more to say? And it was all over and over again to the beat of a bass drum. Her lifetime friend and actor, Bobby Cesaro, told me, I saw her in that play, and she was so fucking funny, I had to know her. And as you noted, everyone talks about what a generous actress Lisa was and is and was. I talked to Wendy Kesselman, who wrote To My Sister in This House. She told me that Lisa was generous off stage and on. I didn't get to see that play. That's what Lisa won an OP for that. So Wendy told me about how during one scene in My Sister in This House, very intense play, if you all know it, Elizabeth McGovern takes all her clothing off. And it's the end of a scene, and so Elizabeth leaves the stage, and typically a stagehand might have to come in and clean up the stage for the next scene, but Lisa incorporated it into her character to clean up after Elizabeth McGovern and take the clothing off the stage. And as Wendy says, I never got over that. Just a couple more things I just want to say. Xanthi Elbrick, who's sitting right here, we were talking, she remembers vividly her first day of rehearsal with Lisa on Mrs. Warren's Profession in 2007. Lisa played Xanthi's mother, And Xanthi had just come off Broadway and with a Tony nomination. It was her first day of rehearsal, and she hadn't had a moment to look at the script or memorize her dialogue. And her father had a stroke the day earlier. She'd just come out to her mother, and she was having a bad day. And so Lisa and her they'd just gone through the first read-through, and Lisa reached over to her, grabbed her hand, and said, honey, you're perfect in this role. You've got this. They barely knew each other. Xanthi looked at her and said, really? And Lisa said, oh God, it's in the bag. And so Xanthi said she felt very confident at that point. I'm going to quote you now. And she told me, she communicated with such truth. That's why she moved the whole world. That's why when she was on stage, she moved every molecule in the world. Just one. If you'll stay with me here for another moment, I just wanted to. I didn't get to see Lisa in many of these. I wish I could have been there in the front row for so many of these plays. Look Back in Anger, Isn't It Romantic? Three Sisters, Rumors, Arcadia, High Society. So many that you all know and have been. Recently, though, I've been over at the Lincoln Center Library. We've been there, the theater archive, and have got to just pore over these videotapes, these rough videotapes of all these productions that all of you are in. It's amazing and very exciting for me. It's been a gift to be able to sit there and watch these and steal a few more moments with Lisa, who was killed last year here in New York. And I know that Lisa would want me to effusively thank everyone here, and those not here, playwrights, co-stars, stage managers, crews that she worked with over the years. I just want to say effusively because the first full-length play I saw of Lisa's was Present Laughter. It was in Boston, at the Huntington with Victor Garber and some other amazing actors, 2007. And we're kind of a newish couple. I had never been backstage, so I'm a civilian, as Julie White would call me. And afterwards, Lisa took me by the hand to introduce me to her co-stars. So I was, gobsmacked by everyone's performances. And so like in Deer in Headlight, we go backstage, and I met our first co-star, where I proceeded to give a very enthusiastic critique. And in that moment, Lisa gently took me aside and said, darling, are you ready for this? And I looked at her like, what do you mean? And she explained, everyone really just wants to hear how really, really great they are. And I just want you to know that you are all really, really great. And Lisa loved being an actor and a part of this amazing community. Thank you very much.